Let's get to the money.
Let's get to the
Money.
Let's get to the
Money. Let's get to the motherfucking money.
Fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, 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 fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. Middle finger in your ass screaming fuck the bookies. Woke up in the morning, grab my little black book. Yesterday can eat a dick, cause we lost by the hook. Can't win them all, so you never see me get shook. Today's a new day, the bookmakers getting cooked. When I spot a dirty keg of 4 units getting played, always find the value, I would never be afraid. Scared money don't win, but I'm not going all in unless I see a bet I love, then I put my balls on a bookie's chin. Let it all soak in, doubling my bread, winning money with my friends. If you got the itch and you wanna go big, follow Sharpie bets and you gon' really fucking win. This is not financial advice, it's entertainment. But if I find the right price, believe I'm parlaying it. You can see my spreadsheet, I'm winning, not just saying it. Profit in the green every week, I'm never negative. I can bet an ace or a shitty old picture. Pick the right spots cause I'm the K-pop whisperer. Shut up when I speak until you finally get the picture. I'm the best in the world, tell me you getting richer. Fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, 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 fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. Middle finger in the air screaming fuck the bookies.
Let's get
New world order. What's up, everybody? You guys know the drill already. It's the best MLB prop show on God's green earth. I'm your host, Sharpie's Best, and it's Friday, which means we talk the next best thing to God himself. Yep, pitching props, and it's with the only guy I talk K props with, my guy Spin Doc Sports. How you doing, my boy?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. My tout prop went to 17-5 on the year this year. Had a great week inside my VIP, and obviously, right back there. Those of you know me know I'm from Minnesota. That's it right there. I'm already telling you. I know this is a baseball show, so I'm gonna make this real quick. Timberwolves -5.5. Already on it. Already gave it out. Bet the fucking thing. We are evening this series tonight. End of story. All right, on to baseball.
All right, looks like I need to go bet the freaking Minnesota Timberwolves then, bro, because, I'm down. This show ain't sponsored by no one, guys, as we're doing this out of our own generosity, so I do appreciate those that find their way over to this channel, as it is every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific. On this show, we will talk the opening lines of pitching props as well as the closing K-prop line 30 minutes prior to the show going live. So do me a favor, if you like what you're hearing, smash that like button. If you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button as well. First guy on the board, which was a guy they didn't want to give us a line for a long time. And I see someone in the chat already wondering what our opinions are on this guy. And that's Mackenzie Gore versus the Mariners, guys. Striking people out this year 27% of the time, while walking people just 8%. Morning line, or wasn't even morning, it was late afternoon line, was 6.5 plus 116 on FanDuel, where the best line available now to that 6.5 is plus 110 on DraftKings. Pitching out 16.5, minus 115 each way, whereas earned runs opened at 2.5, minus 123 juice to the over. It's now minus 135 juice to the under. Projected lineup is 8 righties, 1 lefties. Let's talk some Gore.
All right, Mackenzie Gore. Well, I mean, to just set the table for this one, it's pretty simple. The Mariners are on no under island and have been all year pretty much for me for a reason. Everybody knows how bad they are at whiffing and striking out, so I'm not going to rehash all that. So if you're playing this, you can just cross the under off the board immediately. That's not an option. This is over or this is a pass. So over the last 30 days, the Mariners are striking out at 27.3% to left-handed pitchers, and they face kind of a mix of decent ones and not so decent ones. But what they haven't done, though, is like some of the left-handed pitchers that you've seen them face are guys, you think like Nestor Cortez. Well, some of those guys, what do? They spend a lot of time in the zone. And Gore can do that as well, but he can be prone to going all outside of it. Now, the question will be, if he does that, will the Mariners swing? You look at their swing metrics over the last 14 days. Mariners are swinging at league average outside of the zone at 31.5% compared to a league average of 32. They're also swinging inside the zone right around league average as well. What they're not doing is making contact inside the zone, 83.3%, which is fourth or fifth worst in baseball and well under MLB average of 85.9. So you correlate that, you go over to Mackenzie Gore, and you see that for the season, he is in the zone at about 50% of the time, which is just slightly above average. But when he is in the zone, he allows zone contact at only 80.4%, which is his personal lowest for the year and well under an MLB average of 82%. You go through this lineup and you see that against his pitch mix, more specifically, the curveball and the slider, you see all kinds of whiff potential at the bottom of the projected Mariners lineup here. You can see it with, you even see it in the top with Rodriguez. You see it with Haniger. You can see it with Cal Raleigh. So there's all kinds of potential here. So I go over, and with Gore, what I always look for is I always look for what his projected outs are, because he can have a tendency to rack up his pitch counts trying to strike everybody out and can pitch himself out of a game. So I go and look, and this all looks right where it should be. His last 10, 15.44 outs. It's set at 16.5. There's nothing really to indicate that one way or the other here. The only thing that I'm waiting for on this, because I still don't see it, and Sharpie, tell me if you have it, I don't see a hits prop for him, so it's hard. So I can't figure out his whip. If I go by his average, then I come up with a projected whip of 1.273, which is right around where his league average is. So all of this, all of these numbers really just accentuate the point that if you're going to play Gore, you're either playing the over or you're not playing it at all. Unders against on the Mariners, especially against a power pitcher who can make guys miss in the zone, just not an option.
Yeah, still nothing out as of now. I mean, geez, his line just came out an hour ago for his K prop. So I don't understand what took so long, but, you know, is what it is. And we still get us a little bit of Gore. And like he said, he gets the Mariners, who over their last 200 plate appearances, they're not walking. They're striking out 27% of the time with a top 8 isolated power. And that's where I knew we'd get a 6.5 on him, guys, as he's played 3 teams this year with a K percentage of 25 or worse. And he was a 6.5 plus money every time. And that's including last week versus the Phillies, going back versus Boston, and then versus the Oakland A's. I remember talking to Spin like, dude, this isn't right? Like, Gore at plus money at a 6.5 versus. No, this is just what they do when he faces a team with 25%, guys. So I really thought we'd get some juice, but I was like, if we get plus money, I'm not really worried about it. So now when I go and look back at who they've played, Nestor Cortez opened at a 6.5. We talked about it on this show. We said, wait till they put Polanco in the lineup. He'll be dropped to a 5.5. And that's what happened. And that was super key to his K prop, guys, because he only had 6 strikeouts in 5 innings, but he did put up a goose egg in those 5 innings. Then they had games versus the Orioles, A's, and Royals where they missed Ragans, so no lefty worth mentioning is what I'm getting at there. And then they got the Framer Valdez. But I've preached it all year long. They own Framer Valdez. He's given up 4 more runs versus Seattle his last 3 games. And then they got Chris Sale. We were all on Chris Sale that day, guys, where he went 5 innings, 1 run while punching out 9. So, yeah, guys, they've seen 2 guys I would actually bet on in these time frames, guys. As like I said, I was on him, and Sale and Barrios this year have actually been my 2 most profitable pitchers that I've bet on. So, yeah, this K percentage should actually be worse than what we have sitting in front of us is what I'm getting at, guys, as well as their isolated power, as they scored run in 10 innings off of Sale and Cortez combined. So they must have been beaten up on some bums. Oh, wait, they did. They did beat up on some bums. That's what it was. Oakland, Kansas City, not naming Ragans, and Baltimore. Dudes, I'm never going to go look to bet freaking overs on. So what I'm getting at, guys, is when I ran this projected lineup, we've got 5 guys striking out 28% of their bats or more versus lefties in this time span. As Gore guy is a 4-pitch pitcher with good whiff percentage on every freaking pitch he has. And I'm going to need this lineup, guys, because there is a projected lineup out here where I will look to run his outs. As right now in this lineup, we have 3 guys who are potentially going to be tough to strike out in Crawford. We're going to be tough to strike out Polanco, and it's going to be tough to strike out Moore. Now, last game versus Gill, granted it's not a lefty, but they dropped Rodriguez to the 6 hole. The dude ain't been hitting and he's been striking out. If I'm running a K prop, I am not looking to see Crawford and Moore sitting in the top 4 like they did last time versus Gill, especially at a 6.5, guys. Now, can he still hit it? Yes, but there's also ways of this lineup getting guys like a Rojas in here, like good contact type guys. So this lineup is really going to have to depend if I run it. I'm only looking over, as he says, but I may go look to his outs overs, as 3 of the 4 guys who are going to be tough to strike out in this projected lineup, they're not hitting lefties for the gosh damn life of them, guys. So you could just skip him another out across the board, which will give him more ample opportunities at striking people out, but he's going to just have to get a couple people twice. Can it happen? Yeah, but I may look towards his outs if I'm looking for him to strike out people more than once. Anything else to say?
Yeah, just one. You made me think about it. A couple of guys to watch if they want, one, if they're in, and 2, where their placement is. Rodriguez, Garver, Raleigh. Haniger is kind of sort of like that. But those 3 are the 3 to watch where they're placed, because against the curveball, which is Gore's second most off-thrown pitch, and has a 30.8% whiff percentage. Those 3 guys have the following whiff percentages on 50-plus curveballs this year. Rodriguez is 54, Garver is 42.9, and Raleigh is 41.4. All 3 of them are striking out to the curveball at 45.5% or worse. And actually, specifically, Raleigh and Rodriguez, the curveball is the primary pitch that guys that throw it use to get them. All of them are batting 199 or worse against a curveball. So watch to see where those 3 guys are. Right now, Rodriguez is projected as second. Actually, they're projected as 2, 3, 4. If they're going to put those 3 guys in 2, 3, 4, not only do I want the over, I want to go even higher than that, because
and those 3 guys, 30% strikeout versus lefties over the last month, 30 and 35.
And their strike percentage against a curveball is just absurd. So
and the way I got Rodriguez and Garver is they can go multiple times, bro. They're striking out, they chase, and they don't make contact. They're just fucking falling apart over there. And I'm just like, but they dropped him to the 6 hole last game. So I'm like, I'm wondering what they do here. You got to wait for lineups when you're betting tough numbers, high numbers. I think you should wait most of the time. But I didn't wait all the time because we got some action today, motherfuckers. Now, I should play this music because I'm leaning this way. Granted, I haven't bet it yet. But you know what? I may bet it. And if I do, I'm going to fucking do it. I just don't know if I got the nuts to take Kyle Harrison at the Mets under, where he's striking people out 21% of the time while walking people 8%. Opened them up 4.5, minus 142 to the over, where the best line available to that 4.5 is now minus 138 on FanDuel. His pitching outs opened up 15.5, minus 155 juice to the under, and now is at a pick'em. After the cuck who gave Peralta's under out is actually on his outs is like his best play of today. It's just funny how his shit pops up now because we made fun of him. And now his shit pops up in my thing, and I'm like, oh, the Giants need Harrison to go deep today. Their bullpen is packed. This is a great spot versus the Mets team who's not hitting.
Did 11 straight lefties do it? Oh, wait.
I think that's what he got at. He did put that up there, like 8-1. Every lefty starter versus the Mets have gone over this outs, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Trend betters are so predictable.
It's so man, it's like, dude, how did you get that, dude? Do you see what this guy did versus the Rockies? The Rockies, but we'll get into that. His earned runs 2.5 minus 150 juice to the over. Projected lineup is no longer projected as they did run the lineup that was projected just a little bit out of place than where it was. It is 7 righties and 2 lefties. Let's talk Kyle Harrison versus a team that's striking out and the books didn't adjust it.
They are, and the books did not. So when I look at Harrison, well, first of all, I think you have to look at what the whiff percentage is to the four seam fastball, because he does throw that 65% of the time, operating in the zone with that as well. Well over 52% of the time. Both of those are way above league average. So what you need is a team that you can get some whiffs against with the four seam fastball. That's option one. Option two is you need a team that takes early pitches and that has a higher take rate so that he can operate in that zone and get those 2 strike counts. So you break them down both ways. You go and you look at the New York Mets. And you go and you look at their lineup and you see a little bit of whiff percentage with the four seam fastball. But Nito, who's going to bat in the 9 hole, is at 33.3. You see JD Martinez, who is at 23.1, but he also does strike out at 36.8. You see a few other guys in the low to mid 20s. And when you're talking about a four seam fastball, guys, we normally talk about with breaking pitches, the standard that we use is typically around the 33 to 35% range. And anything above that is like, yeah, give me that for over. Anything way under that, then you might look under. Four seam fastball is a little bit different just because hitters see them so much. You're looking at about 25%. So there's a few guys that are. So not much to discern for me there. Then I go and look at, will they take pitches? Will they take pitches in the zone? Over the last 2 weeks, no, they most definitely are not. The Mets have a 71.3% swing rate inside the zone that is above MLB average, and that's actually top 10 in baseball during that time. Their contact percentage, again, there as well, is 87.5%, which is above league average of 85.9. Then you go and you look at the number of called strikes that they have, and it is almost a half a percentage point below league average as well. So they don't do number one. They don't do number two. That's how you get Harrison to a point where he can throw those breaking pitches for strikeouts. So I am 100% with you, is that if you're looking at this one, you're going this way. You're looking this way. You are not looking over on this one at all. Oh, Sharpie, Mike, your mic's up.
Yeah, bro. I like to get high, but you already know. Like before every under I bet, I'm like, bro, am I crazy? Am I crazy? So I always like when you do agree with it, and then because you always come with some more different stats than I even look at. So I mean, like, yes. All right, I might do it. Now you even said the one guy I'm afraid of, but we'll get to that. Harrison gets to the Mets, guys, who over the last 200 player appearances, they're not walking. They're striking out 25% of the time with a bottom 3 isolated power. So they're not hitting, they're not walking, and they're striking out, which means you should project this guy to go 6 innings and striking out 25% of his batters, right? Hold up. Let's talk about it a little more. Let's go see who they've seen that I would bet on. We got Braxton Garrett, went 4.1 innings, gave up 6 runs. He had 5 punch outs. Jesus Luzardo went 6 innings with 7 punch outs. Ranger Suarez went 5 innings, only had 3. Max Fried went 7 with 5. And Shota went 7 innings with 7 punch outs. They've actually seen a lot of guys in this time span of numbers that I would bet on, guys. And they can be got, as it's obviously in their overall K percentage. So why do the books drop Harrison to a 4.5 as he's averaging 5 strikeouts a game over his last 10? As Harrison has played 4 games this year versus teams striking out at a 25% or worse, and he's had 7 versus the Red Sox and the Pirates. He had 7 as well. Yet just 4-2 versus the Rockies. Yet the 4 he got pulled on 78 pitches for a reason I'm still wondering either which way. I picked it up, guys. It was either last week or not, guys, when Spin was talking about Harrison not having elite chase stuff. And when we look at it, guys, he is 2% below average in getting people to chase and 3% above league average when it comes to making contact when they decide to chase. By by watching the Rockies game, guys, a team who chases, a team who doesn't make contact off of him. Oh God, it made me drop this guy down from a middle of rotation guy to a 4 or 5 slotted dude, just a lefty guy where you got to pick your matchups with him, guys. Because when we look at his splits, he's striking out lefties at a 37% clip and righties just at a 17%. And I know the Mets are going to run 2 lefties as they did with Nimmo and McNeil, but they're the 2 of the top dudes on their team at making contact when they chase guys, as well as being league average or better and not chasing. So these lefties will be tough, and you have an issue putting away righties. Now, the only reason why I didn't just straight jump on it, guys, is like he said, JD Martinez. It's not just that he's striking out 34%. It's the fact he's the only guy who's seen this guy, and it was 4 at-bats, and he struck out twice. Like, dude, you're in the 4 hole. I cannot have you striking out twice on an under 4.5. Now, the good thing about this, too, though, is in those 4 at-bats, he did yop his head off for a home run. JD Martinez has always been better at hitting lefties. And if you hit him the first time and you even get out with a loud out the second, they ain't letting you see you the third time. So, what it's telling me, guys, is I'm looking to go under. It's just, do I have the balls to pull it? That's all. Do I have the nuts? And I literally have to pull them out my stomach to bet an under. I don't think you got a lot of you do realize, because you know who I am. It is.
It gets easier every time you do it. I promise you.
Hasn't yet, though, bro. Yeah, because we actually know, like as an over better or just as a K prop better, period. We know how easy it is to get to 2 strikes. If you're a professional hitter, you're sitting on a pitch, 1 pitch. If you don't get it, you're going to take it. More than likely, if it's a strike, you're not going to waste your at-bat on your first pitch. Now, they buckle the fuck in on 2 strikes, guys, and that's where it's hard to get the strikeout. So on every under, you'll see 2 strikes 60% of the time, maybe even more. And that, to me, is disgusting. But they still got to put them away, right?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, on that note, Harrison for the year, when he does get 0-1 count on people, he is striking people out at league average at about 33%. And when he gets people on 2 strikes in any count, then he is striking people out again right around league average. So there's not a whole lot to discern there. The other thing, the umpire was just released. It is Ben May. He is pretty neutral. The one thing the place where he's generous is low in the zone. You go and you look at Harrison's pitches. His 4-seamer runs up. He throws that thing high. That thing's going high. It's going high. The other thing the only pitch that he throws that goes low, where he could get some generous calls, would be to the slurve. The slurve is what goes low. Slurve slider, right? That usually runs in the 2 to 4, 2 to 5, or 3 to 5 range, and runs low and away to right-handed hitters. So if he does get those, a lot of 2-strike counts, yeah, he could get it. But the problem here is that there's just not a lot of whiff percentage to his 4-seam fastball. So what you might want to do, and I'm not even saying that I'm not going to play it pregame. What you might want to do is you can also take a chance and have him go through the lineup once and then look to live bet it, because with nobody having seen this guy and his breaking pitches and his 4-seamer running in the exact opposite direction, you usually see a pitcher get the most strikeouts the first time through the lineup. These guys are professional hitters. These guys can adjust. They go talk to each other. Hey, you got to 1 and 2. What did he throw you? Yeah, he threw me a slurve and he took some up, blah, 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 blah. That all helps them adjust. So you might be able to get a 5.5 at reasonable juice if you waited. Either way, probably has the same value. But if I do play this one, under is the only direction I'm looking.
Man, you just made me smile. Now I wrote that down. I was like, if you don't bet Harrison, look to live bet that some bitch. Live betting's been fun, bro. Like, and I don't even mean to. It's just there in the background, and I'll end up bet on some stupid fuck.
Yeah, the other thing that I found helpful too, if you're not watching the game, what can be helpful is Fangraphs has this, and it does have their K percentage, which how many times through the order, and some pitchers actually maintain or even get better. Harrison does not. So his K percentage and his Ks per nine do drop each time that he goes through the order. And if he happens to get the third time through the order, his K percentage drops to a 15.7%, and his Ks per nine drop to 5, which is just absurdly low. So that's like one strikeout every 2 innings. So
Damn. Well, let's talk the other side of this, guys. Christian Scott versus the Giants, striking people out 24% of the time, while walking people just 5.5% on the year. Granted, just 3 games. Morning line was 5.5 minus 110 on MGM. Still 5.5 minus 110 just now on DraftKings. Pitching outs is 16.5 minus 120 juice to the over, whereas earned runs are at a 2.5 minus 150 juice to the under. Projected lineup is 6 righties, 3 lefties. Let's talk Christian Scott.
Yeah, so Christian Scott, sparkling first 2 starts, did not have a good go of it down in Miami, and so now he comes back against a team who statistically has actually been one of the best contact teams in baseball the last 2 weeks, and has the third lowest swinging strike percentage of all teams in baseball over the last 2 weeks. And actually, they're top 10 for the year as well, 9.1%, which is well under MLB average of 10.9. And they also have one of the lower, I should say, CSW, called strike plus whiffs, at 25.1%, which is well under MLB average of 27.2. So the question you got to ask yourself is, why is he still at a 5.5? And more specifically, this was early this morning, why is he at a bettable 5.5? Well, you go over and you look at the Giants lineup, and you see that throughout their lineup, because Christian Scott has been a pretty reliable guy as far as what he's going to throw. He's going to set you up with a 4-seamer. He's going to hit you with a slider in the first time through. Second and third, if he gets there times through, he might bust out the sweeper to righties. He might try to work a splitter in there. So you go over and you look at what the Giants' whiff percentage is, even though their swinging strike percentage is very low. And you go and you look at some of these whiff percentages to a slider. And for some of these guys that are projected in, Bailey, Yaz, I think is Slater projected to be in? No, he is not. No, he's not. But even Luciano, and you see Yaz, 48.4% whiff percentage against the slider. Bailey, 45.5% against the slider. And both of those guys are striking out to a slider at 46.7% of the time or higher, and that's on a lot of pitches this year. So to me, there is more than enough whiff percentage in here where if Scott can hit the zone early, if he can hit the zone early and get some strikes. And the reason why I say that is because the Giants' overall swing percentage is below league average. They're at 46.9% compared to a league average of 48.1. So if he's going to hit the zone early to set up that slider, there are 3 and maybe 4 guys that he can easily get in this lineup on a line of 5.5. That doesn't leave you with much more road to hoe to get to 6. So I haven't made a final decision yet, but I have a very, very strong lean that he goes over in this one.
Yeah, I went on the loop-de-loop and the roundy round and the fuckity fuck. So let me take you through my mind fuck of myself. Christian Scott, guys, gets the Giants, who over the last 15 days have been one son of a bitch to hit a K prop over. As like he said, guys, they're walking top 5 in the league, only striking out 16.5% of their at-bats, but yet they have a bottom 5 ISO. And they've seen some dudes. Paul Skeens, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 3 punch-outs. Jared Jones, 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Gavin Stone, 6 innings, 1 earned run, just 2 punch-outs. Yoshi, The only guy in this time span to have 6. Gave up 4 earned runs, though, in that time span that he was out there. And they had a few series with the Rockies guys in between. And we get a 5.5 pretty much where he was at last week versus the Marlins. At first I thought, okay, this has got to be over, right? Like, this is too easy. This sounds like that nobody's getting 6 right now versus this team. And then I keep going back to like how he said, the fastball slider combo has been money. When you go back to Cease, 6 and 7 strikeouts respectively when he faced them on a back-to-back. Glasnow had 7. Wheeler had 11. Cabrera had 10. Yet the youngsters, Jones twice, Skeens once, has seen these Giants. Those are the ones that ain't been hitting. Is that what fucking happens here, guys? Because at first I was like, man, this has got to be easy over now. Then I went and looked at, what's his zone percentage? Like, what's his first pitch strike? I need this guy to be through the roof. Because did Paul Skeens get hosed yesterday? Yes, but they were hosing the Giants pitchers too, guys. They weren't giving inside a baseball, like literally half a baseball in. Nope. Half a baseball on the outside. Nope. Half a baseball up. Nope. I'm glad he got some double plays and got my outs prop, guys, but so at first I was going back and forth on this under over. I'm like, okay, well, is this under? Is it under then? Because do they have to put him at a 5.5? Miami doesn't strike out either. They put him at a 5.5. So I was like, maybe this is the number they got to put this kid at. And then I'm like going back to the fastball slider combo. And then I go right into thinking like, what the fuck did he just see yesterday? Fastball, slider, split. But a whole lot better fucking version, guys. Paul Skeens is Christian Scott on crack. It is what it is. Jared Jones and Scott may be the type of freaking pitchers like next to each other if you want to class them. Both studs, don't get me wrong. But they're not on the fucking scale of a Paul Skeens. So I was like, everybody I like, though, has gone 6 innings. That's the outs, right? That's what I do. And then I went back and maybe I'm being too fucking cute. Maybe I'm not. But out of the last 7 days, guys, these Giants, and I mean, I've been watching their games. I watched their game because I was on it the other day. There's some guys waking the fuck up in this lineup. And the fact that they're leading Matos off, the guy got on Skeens twice yesterday. Chapman's on fire. And there's a few other guys that are starting to hit into this lineup over the last week. And when I go back over the week, they faced 4 guys that I would bet on. All 4 of those guys gave up at least 5 hits to these Giants. You got to drop his freaking hits prop to a 4.5, even though I don't know why, because he's given up 5 hits or more, Christian Scott, in all 3 of his games, and he's had 2 good games in there. A hit per inning. Ain't too shabby, guys. So 4.5 on a team that's not hitting. They're going to drop it because their ISO's bottom 5. They're not hitting. Well, certain guys are, and certain guys have been hitting this fastball slider combo, and now they get it for 3 days in a row. I know I just told you Skeens. Well, Jones throws the same fucking shit too. So this is like a back-to-back-to-back right now for these Giants, at least for the top 6 who at least been in this lineup. The back third is trash, don't get me wrong, but there is people to be got. I don't think the K-prop under was the look because it's not just the ones he named. It's also guys like Soler that struggles versus a fastball slider combo. And yeah, so I figured, you know what? I think I'm going to go half unit, guys. And that's what I did. I put a half unit because I rarely ever bet hits. I may be dead fucking wrong and it might backfire right in my fucking face. So I only won a half unit on Christian Scott's hits over 4.5 at -115. I don't know, guys. They've gotten 5 off of Yoshi, Gavin Stone, Paul Skeens, and Jared Jones. Like, is this kid that much better than them? I don't think so. So I'm gonna see if you are. So I'm willing to put my money on it.
Yeah, the other thing that I'm looking at too is if the Giants do want to take. I talked about how the pitch that the only pitch that the guy on the other side, Harrison, throws that runs low and a little bit that can run low and a little bit outside, where umpire Ben May has been a little more generous. is the slurve, which he doesn't throw very often. You have Christian Scott, who not only does he throw a slider 26% of the time, it's one of the main pitches he uses to put batters away. And what you see is in the lower right quadrant of the plate. Lower right quadrant of the plate is actually in that area, general area, is where almost 70% of his sliders run. So does that mean that he gets some calls from Ben May? Very, very easily could. So again, this is one where I'm going to do a little more digging, but if you gave me a free bet on the strikeout prop only for this one, it would have to be over. Doesn't mean he's not going to get touched up, because guys get touched up all the time and hit their strikeout prop. That happens all the time. Reed Detmers is the king of getting his ass torched and still striking out 6 guys.
Hey, we like Reed Detmers, but I don't right now because I fucking cucked ass took Valdez to get the win. Was up 6-1 in the 5th. And somehow gave up 7 runs in that inning. Oh, well, life's a bitch and you marry one, guys. And I've happened to marry 2 in my life. But please don't marry people like this, guys. Don't be that one guy where you bet the K prop that's gone over in 10 straight games on a Tuesday after they ate a burrito.
And
yeah, you see them? Those are some yoppers, fellas. Big old yitties. Deborah, she likes to call them puppies. But they're on our boy today, guys. Shota Amagna, and he got him just all over his face, and he gets him shot at the Cardinals, striking people out 28% of the time while walking people just 4.5% on the year. Morning line was 5.5 minus 120 on FanDuel, and it's still 5.5 minus 120 with nobody betting the under. It ain't moved. Pitching outs, guys, 17.5 minus 190 juice to the over, whereas earned runs are at 2.5 minus 175 juice to the under as well. Projected lineup is 5 righties and 4 lefties. Let's talk it.
All right. So I'm going to have Sharpie hit you with all the stats for this one. I want to talk a little bit about betting psychology that the books happen to know. But before we do that, y'all know that this man and I talk K-props every single day, whether it's text, phone, Twitter, whatever. We talk K-props every single day. What was the first thing that I texted you today? I said, why the fuck do they got a line Shota like that? Now, if you are a trend better, and I know I rail on trend bettors, I know that I talk shit, but you would look at this and you would say, 7+ in 5 straight over 15 unit max bet. Okay. So to think that that's going to work, then you have to think that all the algorithms, all the people at the books, all the software, everything that they run to set these lines is absolutely fucking wrong. And you going to covers and looking at a hit rate chart for 5 minutes is a better way, is a more accurate way of capping. This is the psychology of it. And it plays into, if you ever studied what gambler's fallacy is, like, for example, you spin a roulette wheel and you lose 99 times on black. Or like, wow, I got to put 5 million on red this time because it has to hit. No, it fucking doesn't. Okay. That's why you look at this and you see, oh my God, this looks so damn easy. It's a bettable number. That is exactly what the books want you to think. Now, you might be thinking spin, so that means you're going to hammer the under. Haven't decided entirely yet, but I'm sure as hell leaning that way, because they always know. They always know. And their accuracy is way better than yours. And even though I think that this man next to me and I are 2 of the best K-prop cappers on the internet, their accuracy is better than ours. They have billions of dollars to spend on this shit. So if you think you're going to go to covers and you're going to look at a hit rate chart and you're going to see Shota's hit it 5 times in a row, he's averaging 7 strikeouts, blah, 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 and that automatically means that you should unload the clip, please stop and listen to what we're telling you. Just please, Please stop. And the other thing you have to ask yourself is if they're making it bettable like that, what do you think that they're doing? They've already dug the hole. They've already got everything in it. All they're doing is covering. They've already got the leaves covered. Now all they need to do is set the bait out. Don't fall for it. Sharpie, go ahead.
Yeah. Let's talk. Granted, guys, I put this right here that there's this in the next write-up that I did last night before the lines came out, and then I'll add in after the lines came out. So bear with me. Shota, guys, gets the Cardinals, who over the last 200 plate appearances versus lefties, they're not walking, only striking out 22% of their at-bats with a bottom 5 isolated power. And when I look at who they've seen since I would bet on in those numbers, there's only 2 names going back to May 1st, being Garrett Crochet, who went 6 innings of 1-run ball while punching out 6, and Reed Detmers, who has given up 4 more runs in 5 straight games. Speaking of Reed Detmers himself, and he still had himself 7 strikeouts in 5 innings of being taken to the woodshed. So they have a bottom 5 isolated power, and the only guy they've seen worth mentioning is Garrett Crochet. So, guys, I went back the whole year, and that's the only guy I bet a over on they have actually seen. And their numbers should technically be even worse. So I'm sitting in there like, okay, what are we going to get in here? So when I look at this shit, I go back and I see, guys, how do I want to bet Shota? As last week it was a team total under with the Pirates. Yes, I believe he ended up following 1 strikeout short of where they ended up putting him. Or no, 6.5 super juice or 7.5 plus money. He ended on 7 last week. But what I'm getting at, guys, is this guy has the lowest ERA in the history of baseball through 9 games. The lowest, just passing Fernando Valenzuela's record of a 0.91 ERA through his first 9. And now Shota gets a team with a bottom 5 isolated power. Because he's already seen a few of them teams this year, guys, and we got some things popping up. He's seen the Padres. He went 7 innings. He had 8 strikeouts. The Mets, where he went another 7 innings of no-run ball with just 7 strikeouts, and another 7 innings of 7 strikeout baseball with no runs versus Boston Red Sox, where he went 6.1 innings of 1-run ball and striking out 7. So this man has gone over 18.5 outs in every start versus a team not hitting lefties, as well as nothing less than 2 earned runs. So what I'm getting to is the Cardinals team total under 3.5 is what I was looking at last night, guys. And to see how much plus money is on his outs, as I was thinking maybe we'd get an 18.5 and I'd split my bet up. No, they juiced out the 17.5 to like 200. And I said, fine, I'll just leave it be. And then they came out with a 5.5 on Shota. And I was like, no. And I tried to convince myself, like, well, they put Garrett Crochet at a 5.5 and Detmers at a 5.5 as well. And they've only put freaking Shota above a 5.5 2 times this year. And he's 0-2 the 2 times they did it. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that, guys. The 2 times they've moved him off the 5.5, he didn't hit. So they bring him down right here, and I'm just like, what's going to happen, dude? Like, he's got to be able to get 6. They're projecting 4 lefties. So I go check his splits. He strikes out righties and lefties the same. And I'm like, okay, let's go through him on 1 strike. Like, how does he do with people on 2 strikes? Whether it's 0-2, 1-2, 3-2, he strikes out damn near half of his batters if he gets 2 strikes. So I'm like, okay, the books are saying he ain't getting 2 strikes. So I start flipping through numbers. I'm trying to figure it out, and then I'm like, bam. There it is. The guy who walks less than 3% of the people on the year throws pitches in the zone. We got a team, guys, who's top 5 in the league at swinging at pitches in the zone. Don't mean that they're putting it in play, but they're not striking out, and they're getting out, guys. So at the end of the day, I am on the Cardinals team total under 3.5 at a -125. Yes, sir. And anything else to add on?
No, and with what I said before, I'm not even saying that the over is even like a terrible bet. What I'm just saying is that when you see stuff like that, you have to take a pause and you have to do some research and not just think that by just looking at last 10, last 5, whatever it is, that you can just unload the clip, because the books feed off of that. If you go, many sports books offer you for free hit rate charts and, trend charts and whatever it is. And, I always liken that. For those that don't know, I used to count cards pretty heavily at blackjack and made a good deal of money doing it. But what I remember being at a blackjack table and the dealer had an ace, and the guy ask the dealer, should I take insurance? And rule number 1, if you are card counting at the table, you shut the fuck up and never let anybody else, never let on that you know how to play the game. So I kept silent, but the dealer just kind of smiled at him and said, do you think you should? And the guy goes, well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. And he said, do we have a nice hotel here? Yeah. Do we have a nice pool? Do we offer all kinds of free stuff? Yeah. Do we have all these beautiful things? Yeah. And he said, do we have to offer you insurance? No. He goes, do you think that we offer you things where the player has the advantage? And then I kind of smirked and the guy figured it out. But it's the same premise here. It's the same premise here. Is that they don't offer you things that are typically to the player or the bettor's advantage. So not saying it's not going to hit, not saying he can't get 6. I'm not even saying that I'm going to, tout or bet the under. I'm just saying when that happens, you have to do the research. You have to go deeper and try to figure out, why is it set like this? And then that can give you the confidence to actually put your money on it. Because, and this is the last point I'll make about it, is that if grabbing a hit rate chart, scanning it up and down for 5 minutes and betting based off that is the way to consistently beat the books, then the books would be bankrupt and every single sports bettor that's on Twitter would be a millionaire. And if that's not the case, then think about what I said.
That was actually a really good analogy, talking about do they give you something that's going to mean that doesn't help them?
Do we offer you? He goes. Do you think we offer bets that are in the player's favor?
No, they fucking don't. And that's why I don't understand why people play slot machines. It's like, bro.
And picks from Dave, you are true count of 3. Yep, you are correct. You are correct on that.
Speaking of true count, guys, we're gonna talk about a guy that's got some past history, guys, and I kind of like him. I like him a lot. And we're talking about Carlos Rodon, who I fucking hate. Granted, let's get that out the way. At the Padres, striking people out 23.5% while walking people 7% on the year. Opened them up 6+ at plus 122 on FanDuel. Now that 5.5 is at plus 105 on DraftKings. Pitching out 17.5 minus 155 juice to the over, whereas earned runs are at 2.5 minus 155 juice to the under. Projected cuck lineup of the Padres is 6 righties and 3 lefties. And before we talk about them, did you see all the stuff that's popping up on Arias right now compared to Tony Gwynn? I know they've always compared him to Tony Gwynn, but now they're almost at the same freaking age. And dude, he may be better than Tony Gwynn, bro. That's coming from a guy who grew up in San Diego and is a diehard. I'm a diehard Tony Gwynn fan. Grew up a Padre fan and became a Dodger fan. So at the end of the day, bro, for me that's like almost slander to say that. You don't say that. And we've always called Tony Mr. Padre. They're now calling freaking Ottery as Senor Padre. The dude's gonna get a statue out there too, bro. Like it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, he may be Tony Gwynn-esque, but he sure doesn't have good history against Carlos Rodon. I can tell you that. This man next to me and I saw the same thing in that in 6 plate appearances, Arias has struck out 4 times. And that is just shocking. That is something you never see for Luis Arias. You go down the list, you see Cronenworth, 4 of 9. You see Machado, 7 of 19. It just goes on and on and on. And then you get some guys that haven't seen him that do have a high whiff percentage against his slider. So when I look at team metrics for this one, I do see that the Padres do have one of the lower swinging strike rates. That is to be expected given their overall approach to the plate. Over the last 2 weeks, they have a very high contact rate, but their highest contact rate is in the zone. So they have a contact rate near 90% in the zone. But what Carlos Rodon can do, especially with his fastball when he runs it up the ladder or with his slider, is he can actually go outside the zone and get chase. Rodon for the season is, despite the fact that he's been up and down for strikeouts, is at a 52.1% chase contact rate, which is under pitcher average of 57.9. It's actually his best mark over the last 3 years. He also is generating chase at a league average of 28.3. Rodon's zone contact is right around league average as well. So you go and you look and you see, okay, which of these guys is he going to get to chase? Because, and you see, we're looking at past history, it's quite a bit of them. It's quite a bit of them that he can not only get, but also that do chase. You go and you look at the Padres lineup, and for all the low strikeout percentages that they have, and especially now, because the one thing I do want to see though is I do want to see who is in at catcher, because I've seen one site say Campusano, I've seen two sites say Higashioka, and if it is Higashioka, then oh my, do I want the over on this one, because against the slider, 46.2% whiff percentage, 50% K percentage. Guys that will be in the lineup, Tatis is at 39.3, Machado's at 38.5. You factor all of those things in, and the fact that even Cronenworth, who doesn't whiff much against a slider, and Arias, who for sure doesn't, he's striking those guys out combined over 50%. There are many paths to this over here, and I think that you're getting a reduced price because you have the Padres at home.
Yeah, the Padres, who don't strike out the fucking lefties, guys, who over their last 200 plate appearances are only striking out 19% of their at-bats, but yet they have the worst isolated power versus the lefty in the league. And when I look at who they face, guys, that I would go bet on, it's only been a few, but it's been some reoccurring themes. Andrew Abbott, 7 innings, no run ball, 2 strikeouts. Chris Sale, 7 innings, no run ball, 9 punch outs. Max Fried, he got hit, guys. He only went 5 innings. He had 2 punch outs. Showed up, 7 innings, 2 earned runs, striking out 8. And those are the guys over these guys in these numbers, guys, that they've actually seen. So 4 guys in their last 200 plate appearances I would bet on. Now, what does the freaking Shota and Sale have that Max Fried and Andrew Abbott have? How about K percentages above 20%, guys, at the end of the day? Because Max Fried's got the highest of them two, and it's 20%. So, now, that means we're playing freaking Rodon, right? Now that's where I'm like, fuck, man. Why is Rodon got to be at 23.5 right now? Why does Rodon got to be in the middle of Abbott and them and freaking Sale and our boy that I got stoned. Sale and whoever the fuck else lefty that I talked about. Oh, Shota. So I go back farther, guys, and what I'm getting at is these numbers have been there all year. They haven't been striking out to lefties all year. Bullshit. If it's a lefty I would bet on, if it's a lefty with a K percentage above 25%, they've done damage. Nick Lodolo, 11 strikeouts, 7 innings, 1 run ball. Ranger Suarez, 8 innings, 1 run, 8 strikeouts. There was another one in there too, guys, that went out there and just dealt versus this team. So they all have gone deep other than one who got lit up in Max Fried. They've all gone over their innings prop. So I was like, okay, when they come out with this inning prop, I'm going to look at that. I think we can get a 16.5 or a 17.5. And if it came at 16.5, I would have bet it. Now at 17.5, I don't think there's enough wiggle room. Can he go 7 innings today? Yes. But he's faced 2 bottom 5 isolated teams this year, and he went 6 innings in each game. And to me, there's just no reason to be betting 18 outs on a 17.5 when that's what he's shown he can do. Now, every one of my guys have also gone over that. So how do I want to back them, guys? Well, we talked about some of this past history, and We know he's dominated lefties this year. He's striking them out 36%. Well, just 21% from the right-handed side. And last week, Chris even asked me when it was an all-righty lineup. He's like, "You're not worried about the all-righties?" I said, "Fuck no!" And I got hooked. So maybe I should have been worried, but at the end of the day, that's not what we get with the Padres. Yes, we're going to get one of the best lefties in the league. I really don't think we get him, but if we do, cool. And he has struck out 4 of the 6 times, so it might be a day you might want to let Arias just sit down. I'd let him sit before I seen him in the lineup and still count him for 1, even though it says 4 and 6. I can't believe it until I see 1 next to his name, because I'll be like, yeah, it's fucking Luis Arias. But we get through the lineup, guys, and we got Machado striking out over a third of his at-bats in a nice chunk. Cronenworth striking out 4 of his 9 at-bats. Oh, a lefty. Who would have fucking thought? A lefty they put in the fucking top 4. Oh, who else is in their lineup? There's 3 guys that are going to be tough. 3 guys. We got Kim, we got Profar, and the other guy was, where's that name at? Not Machado, but there was Kim, Profar, and one other dude that I had written down. And they're going to be tough as they struck out like one of their. Go ahead.
Sorry, was it what? No, it wasn't Camposano, was it? No,
I forgot. I lost my spot.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
no. I usually I started ramping, so I wasn't going to read what I had left.
Yeah.
I was just going pissed off at this number. Like, no way, bro, no way. But there are 3 guys that were freaking like, when you looked at their past history, there was 25 at bats and only like 3 strikeouts. So you could be like, okay, those aren't the ones. Those 3 aren't. But then we got Machado, who will. Tatis has never seen him, and you already said, well, I knew we can get him already. You already said what he whiffs at in his pitches. And then we have Jackson Merrill, who hasn't seen him, and he's a fucking lefty. So 3 lefties, 2 guys, 2 guys that are going to strike out in the top 4, not including Cronenworth. It's over or nothing, guys. And this is the way I attacked it. As I was looking to bet the team total under 3.5 with the Padres. The Padres have not been hitting lefties. Rodon has done his damage, but I expect the Yankees to come out, and I don't know if they win the game off of Darvish. I think they do, but I decided to be a safe type guy, and I did a same game parlay at -120. I took Rodon down to 5 strikeouts. I see 5 as his worst day. And I was like, okay, let's be safe. And then I took the altered team total of the Padres at 4.5, and I took that under. So I got Rodon at 5+, and the Padres team total altered down to under 4.5, and that was at -120. And that's the way I attacked it. I'd rather be safe, guys. I don't like parlaying too many times out of different games. If I thought about doing that with Shota as well, like taking the 5 with the 4.5, but I ended up on that 3.5, and it may end up cucking me at the end of the day. But in this game, I feel super safe at 5. I feel super safe at the under 4.5, and I may have put a little more than I should on this one. So fuck you, Rodon, bro. You motherfucker, dog. Don't do me like that.
If this doesn't, if God forbid this doesn't hit, I'm going to see Sharpie just taking Rodon's page in the black book with a lighter and just being like, here we go. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Dude, it's crazy because I cashed unders on him at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
And then I'm like, dude, okay, he's back. No, dude, I think I'm right on it. What I told you, what did I tell you like 2 or 3 weeks ago? When you texted me, you're like, I think I'm going to be on Rodon tonight. And I texted you. Do you remember? I said, he's the new Blake fucking Snell, bro.
Yeah, yeah, he kind of is.
He's so like, oh, what are you going to do tonight? What Rodon's showing up? But what I can tell you guys is at least his pitches are starting to look like 2 years ago's Rodon. And, yeah, he has past history. He's back to being near that past history, as well as these cucks running out lefties, bro. And we might get Arias out the lineup tonight. We actually might. I'll take that over his 4 strikeouts and 6 at-bats and still feel better. I don't fucking care, dude. Like that. Like I
Well,
said, bro.
I mean, I look at it this way: is that either way, I think that you can win either way because you either have the 4 out of 6, which you have some really good past history there. It's not as ideal to have Arias just because he's Arias, but or you get him out of the lineup. Either one doesn't really support an under at all.
Yeah, man. Well, as always, I appreciate talking baseball with you. We got
Same
an
here.
hour down, and we both got some life. So let these fine young people know what you got going on and where they can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. So at Spin Doc Sports, if you don't follow me, I'm actually running a Memorial Day contest. I did it last time. I had some great results. I'm looking forward to it again. My tout prop, the one public play that VIP play that I post publicly every single day. There will be one every single day throughout the weekend, leading up to Memorial Day, where I will draw 5 winners, and those 5 people will get a free week of VIP plays and also VIP access to our Discord. So, if you want, all you have to do is one entry for a like, one entry for a retweet or repost. Now, I guess it's called, and there's no limit. And we will draw. I will be drawing on Memorial Day. So, yep, a free week of plays, and then free week of plays for both mine and for the Discord. And while my baseball stuff will be posted very, very shortly, I will tell you something that I'm already on, and that is this squad right here, my hometown boys. I think we get right tonight. I know for a fact we're going to make some defensive adjustments on Kyrie. Ant's not going to guard him all game and get worn down by the end of the game. We're going to rotate on him, and there's some other things. There's adjustments that I've seen this team do after games like that. And from what I understand, they had as their head coach called it, a intense film session, which means knowing Finch, he lit them the fuck up. So you are going to see an effort tonight. So Timberwolves -5.5. That's like I said, I'm on that one. So. And by the way, this is the only time throughout the playoffs that I've given out a pregame bet on the Timberwolves.
There you go, guys. He's not a homer, is what he's saying.
The only time.
Don't say I'm a homer.
The entire playoffs that I've given out a pregame bet on the Wolves.
Well, guys, as always, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Smash that like button if you haven't. We don't do this shit for not a damn dollar, guys. So, appreciate you all for showing up. If you haven't already, smash that like. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button as well. I have 3 bets in today. I have the St. Louis Cardinals team total under 3.5 and -125. I have a same game parlay for -120 on Rodon, 5+ strikeouts, and the Padres team total altered under 4.5. And then I have a half unit on Christian Scott over 4.5 strikeouts. Oh, not strikeouts. Shut the fuck up. Hits. Over 4.5 hits. He's at a 5.5 for strikeouts. So you may not want to tail me on that one as I don't bet hits often. That's hence the reason why I put it at a half. And I may get fucking just straight up. Dude may pitch 9 innings of no-hit baseball. And I'll be sitting there like, yeah, that's the last time I bet a hits prop. But if I start seeing shit and I hit it, I'm going to start betting more. It's just I got to bet it accordingly. And I don't bet hits.
One last thing, just because this is important to me, is that obviously it's Memorial Day. And I mean, I do this a lot, but just if you see anybody that is military, thank you to everybody in the military. Thank you all for serving. I have many family members that have in some capacity. So thank you to all that serve. And like I said, if you happen to see anybody, whether you're going out or whether you're staying in or you're traveling or whatever, if you happen to see anybody that is a member of the military, they make incredible sacrifices for us to be able to do shit like this. So thank you to everybody. And if you can, just give them a fist bump or just a simple thank you for your service. It means a ton to them.
Yeah, I have 3 sons, and all 3 of my sons are in the military as we speak. So, and everyone like, what if your kid dies? Because one of my kids is straight infantry. 2 of my kids are combat medics. They're in war.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, your kids could die. Yeah. And I'll cry, I'll miss my kids, but I won't be like, gosh, damn it, you mother. These kids signed up for it willingly. They had a life. They played sports. They did it all. They chose to go into the military and serve our country. And yet, I believe it's 33% of the homeless population are vets, guys.
It's sick.
It's like, bro, don't be shunned to knock a freaking homeless person, bro. Find out their story and help him out if he's a vet, bro. Even if it is $5, even if he is gonna buy a beer with it, you're not God. Who are you to tell him what to buy? You know, this is the weekend to go hook someone up. Preferably a veteran struggling, guys. They're out there. They're right in front of your face, bro, and you probably don't even know it. That's the fucked up thing. You look at that homeless guy down the street. 1 out of 3 guys is gonna serve our country, bro. That's what's fucked. So, hate to end it on a salty note, guys, but happy Memorial Day and have a blessed weekend.